hand and a can of mace in the other. And the guys were trying to sell me joints everywhere. And then some black guy turned me on to the bus station. So I found the bus station, and there'll be a song all about the bus station on our EP called 1 in a Million. And then I rode all around Fullerton thinking it was just the smallest city I had seen and I would find Izzy. I rode the bus for like 2 days. Never found Izzy. But, you know, I stayed in Huntington Beach for a while. I found this empty apartment with a door open and a skateboard in the corner, and that was Izzy's. Huh. Got lucky. I paid some guys a case of beer to help me find Huntington Beach, because I didn't know where it was. And then I hitchhiked the whole country for a while, looking for where I wanted to stay and start working on a band. You know, went all the way up to, went to San Francisco, went to Rhode Island, went down to Hollywood, Florida, back to Indiana for a while to regroup my brain, and then back to LA, and I moved home. No matter what happens with this band, where it went, what we sold, or if it broke up, changed, whatever, or any other members, that at that time it was the most important thing. And it's like, I like tattoos, and I wanted something that would always remind me of what was once there, you know, a symbol of it. And so, you know, I got the cross tattoo here, and then Geffen liked it so much we decided to use it for a cover.
Man, it'd be one of those things that I tell your grandkids.
See, like Slash, notice, Slash wanted straight hair, so we gave him straight hair.
I didn't ask for straight hair.
Yes, you did. You totally did. Yes, you did.
I never said that.
Yes, you did. Totally.
What makes you say that?
Because you did.
Why? Was I drunk?
I don't know. Yeah, I think you were. You were at the Hell House.
Oh, yeah, because I told Bill, I said, you're never going to be able to draw curly hair right. You know, I mean, it's definitely an emotional and physical thing. That's where it comes from. It's like, you know, you get to one part and then you want to, you know, I can't put it into words, really, what it is. It's just a feeling.
Slash is one of the most emotional guitar players that I've ever met or ever seen. And coming from Indiana, I used to play with this guitar player named Paul, and I learned about blues and emotionalism and stuff through him, and he was a big Page fanatic. And then I came to LA and I saw all these people trying to be Eddie Van Halen. And it took 5 years to find somebody who played more from the heart rather than just trying to be the fastest and trying to do this and that to be a big rock star. Someone who, like, he'll be very quiet and stuff most of the time and really won't let a lot of himself out until he picks up a guitar. And then his heart and soul seems to pour out through the guitar. And it's just like, I sit down a lot of times at shows, I'll sit down right on the stage, right in front of his amp when he's doing a solo, because it means so much to me just to hear that. It took a few years, like for a couple of years, Izzy was real good at, like, he'd been out there just long enough, and he was always good at scamming his way in, and I wasn't. So it took me like about 2 years to even like be able to talk to people. I just kind of like stand around and watch, you know, and people didn't accept you so easily. And I remember I was wearing cowboy boots, and I got told I looked like I just got off the boat. And now like people buy cowboy boots for their mother out there. It's like, it's kind of weird. But, you know, we met Slash. We ran an ad for a heavy metal punk glam guitarist, blues influenced. And Slash showed up and we said, nah. But he kept popping up everywhere we were at, and all of a sudden we started working together. It took a long time, and I guess it took a long time for me to learn and accept things out there. You know, he had been there the whole time and nothing was really that new.
From the beginning.
Yeah. And Izzy was just running around learning about every fad that there was, till finally at this point he's just bored with everything except, you know, and just gets into his guitar, and it's real cool. He's like, you know, doesn't worry about too much of anything except his guitar.
It's really funny because, like, none of us are from Los Angeles, and everybody like tries to label us an LA band. We just all happened to have met there, and we were the only 5 guys that could have made up Guns N' Roses. I mean, we had different combinations of us in different bands, you know, throughout the time we were coming up and getting it together. And
yeah, there was like one or two of the same guys.
We couldn't. There was nobody else in LA we could have played with, so it was inevitable that the five of us would get together because that was it. I mean, there was no other combinations that would go.
There is no formula. He says he's written songs probably every single way, you know, imaginable, and you know, he was wondering if there was a few more ways. Sometimes it starts out with one word, sometimes one note, sometimes a verse, a riff, a chorus, a drum beat. It always varies every time. Sometimes a whole song hits you at once. Then you're very fortunate, I think. And you know you've really got something. Other times it takes, you know, it could take up to a year to get a song exactly the way that your mind's picturing it. A lot of times you hear something in your head, you picture it, but you can't quite figure out how to get it out. Like if you were a painter and you see the picture but you can't figure out how to paint it. I've heard a lot of painters describe it as basically their work is just a shadow of what they saw in their head. You know, and sometimes that's what we get, other times we nail it right on the head and it completely comes out. When we start a song, it's like I'll try it in different ways and finding which way fits it best. And if I think that some sound, some way of singing is going to work better, I'll just work on that way. It might be something new that I've never done before. Like, It's So Easy, I'd never sang a song like that before, but the high voice just didn't seem to fit it as well. And so I started working on the low one. And Mr. Brownstone, it reminded me of a Stones-ish type funk thing. And so I was just playing around with it. And then, you know, we heard a rehearsal tape back and it sounded like it might work, so I just started practicing that way. I'm like a second baritone, and I just worked on widening my range to get a high range, and so then I just try to find the way to use the whole thing rather than limit myself.
We have this song, My Michelle, right? And it's, Axl comes to me with these lyrics one day, and I go, no, Axl, you really can't say that. I mean, we've known this girl for years, and it's the truth.
When I was about 13, and I went out with her then later on, and we got into a little hassle or whatever, and then I wrote this song. And it was basically the truth, and it says some nice stuff about, you know, how...
At the end.
No, in the middle of it, you know, everyone needs love, and you know that it's true and stuff. But I like to describe, sometimes, like, you won't touch a subject because you don't want to expose it. It might hurt someone. But then, if the subject's really that interesting, you just rip it apart and expose it. And that's what we did. And basically, though, it worked out good for everybody in the long run. She's happy about the song, and her dad even liked the fact that it was really accurate, so.
It was funny at the time, though. It was like, no, you can't.
Yeah, at the time it was really, it took 3 weeks for me to like finally go, what do you think of these lyrics? But she was really happy that I wrote it, so.
You can be on top and popular and everybody loves you and you're making lots of money, and then it's gone at some point too. And then, you know, it's like we're lucky because we have people that we work with that we're close to, and we can, you know, really be personal with and feel like someone's, you know, actually loves us and whatever. And it's like,
I wouldn't go that far.
If it falls apart tomorrow, you know what I mean? Your history, no one gives a shit about you anymore. And you know, what are you going to go back and get?
I'll be your friend. I'll still be your friend.
You're going to go back and get a secretarial job?
When will I talk to you? Once a year?
Yeah. Go back home to your parents? What? I mean, it's like, it's hard in that way, but it's worth it. This is great, yeah.
We got hired to be the bad boys, and we were the bad boys, and now all of a sudden we have to be businessmen and respectable and good and stuff like that.
You can only be bad boys during non-working hours.
I'm psychotic, and that's a real problem to try to, like, you know, okay, now I'm done with business, now I can go in this room and be psychotic and tear it up. You know, it's like I have to, like, balance out, you know, when can I destroy everything around me to when I have to be nice to everybody.
Yeah, things aren't that cut and dry, so it's hard to...
The record, it's getting to be more exciting thinking about it all the time. I don't know what it's going to do in terms of sales or our following, but it should be, for us, a very weird experimental process and coming up with a lot of new things, because Appetite for Destruction, a lot of the material written on that was done while we were in the club scene in LA. That's over 2 years ago. You know, sometimes 3 years ago, some of it. And Anything Goes was first started about 4 years ago. And so during this time, we've had a lot of time to grow and mature, I think, lyrically and musically. And the next record, we get to like fuse this all together and see what we come up with.
It's a strange thing because we're gonna, you know, actually, it's different because we've had a long time, like you said, about, you know, growing and stuff as musicians and as just as people and experiences and things. And I think when the tour is done, you know, and it's time to sit down and just put music together for the next record, it's going to be a completely different situation. It's not like we had years to put a song together or whatever, you know, things change over, you know, course of years. Me and Axl met at a certain point in our relationship, you know, with me and him and, you know, us and the rest of the band and stuff has changed. And it's like we're going to sit down and start writing songs, like right off. It's hard to explain. It's going to be like sitting down and just putting all this years of experience down, you know, and trying to write however many songs we're going to do. And I don't know, just put it in a certain time frame.
Yeah,
just like
a lot of material done. It's like a lot of people right now are getting turned on to Appetite for Destruction, like it's brand new. And we still have the same momentum behind those songs as we've always had, and we still find something in them and we get excited. But, you know, the next record for us will be like anywhere from a 2 to 4 year jump. And a lot of people, you know, are going to get that jump in 1 year's time. And I think it's going to surprise a lot of people.
That's where I get to do guitar solo and stuff. It's never anything that I made up or on the, you know, like before the show or a couple days ago. It's always just like made up on the spot, you know.
There's a lot of improv. And like I'll go skateboarding behind Slash and he doesn't know it, and that's a lot of fun. Or I like to go out in the crowd sometimes, like while he's playing, and mess with him.
Yeah, I ran out into the crowd the other night and went. I'm wireless now, so it's a new thing. So I go running up into like where the monitor board is, and all these people are going, "Oh my God, where's he going?" And there's security guys
chasing him. There's kids chasing him, and he's running full speed.
Meanwhile, they got little low steps. Live playing is 50% of what we are about as far as a band, maybe even more than that. I mean, you record. I'm one of those people that enjoys recording. You know, even though we've only done it seriously once, I mean, I like to put everything into it. And then to go out and play it live is, you know, the other half of the other side of the coin, you know. It's great. I mean, it's the best. Playing in front of a crowd that's, you know, really enthusiastic is one of the best feelings you can ever have, you know. It's the most fun. It's great.
We like playing our songs. Also, it's like, you know, I give the light people and everybody a hard time because I don't like to follow the set list, because I like to go off the feel of the band and the feel of the crowd. And like, what I think the band's going to be able to play the best and go for the best vibe with the crowd, you know. So it makes every show just a little bit different, and we never know how we're going to end the show. I mean, we never know if we're going to do an encore or we're going to play for a long period of time, or if, as the case happens a lot of times, if I'm going to get like pissed off and leave. Because something always happens at the end of a show for me for some reason. I don't know why. It's like the last song, something happens. You can see on the live MTV thing, it's like, you know, everything was pro except this monitor man that didn't have a clue of what was going on. And the crowd's hearing the show, everything's great. We're hearing spaceships land on stage, backwards echoes.
I know, it's like, what's that?
Screaming feedback. You know, the drummer doesn't know Steven doesn't know what's going on. You know, finally I tried to nail the monitor man with my microphone, and my tour manager moved and I nailed him. So, but you can, you know, that was messy.
Yeah.
But it leaves for some excitement. People never know what's going to happen, you know, and they never know if I don't come back. It's like
we didn't
know.
It.
We didn't know. Okay.
It was supposed to be a joke.
There was cameras, all kinds of things happening. It was an accident. Thank you.
Nobody's seen this for 100 years.